an update to Parliament on plans to dredge and desilt waterways filled with silt that is contributing to flooding in lower plains. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I give the floor to the Minister for Agriculture, Rural and Maritime Development, Waterways and Environment, the Honourable Dr. Mahendra Reddy. You have the floor, sir. Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Honourable Speaker, siltation of waterways, has been and is a major concern for our ministry. Mr. Speaker, I've mentioned it a number of times that a large number of our waterways over the last 2-3 decades have been filled with silt because of what's happening in catchment. And not only it is affecting infrastructure, agriculture and household communities in the lower plains, but it also is not good for the own ecology of these waterways, because when you have siltation, then the natural ecology is affected. The vegetation, the species that's in the waterways. So it is a major concern. Now, Mr. Speaker, what we have done last year, we had advertised in the papers emergency desilting of 136 creeks, waterways around Fiji. On the 13th of November 2019, we had put out a full-page ad in the paper exactly identifying where this waterways is, or where these waterways are, what is the, we have done scoping of all these 136 waterways, the volume of silt that needs to be extracted, because when we do an EIA, the EIA is not based on the number of years. The EIA is based on the volume that needs to be extracted, because we don't want to extract more than what we should extract, because then we are changing the structure and nature of the waterways, because the idea of any extraction is to restore the waterways to its original state. So therefore, we need to be very careful when we allow any extraction from any waterways. So we did a detailed scoping of the waterways. There's 136 waterways, Mr. Speaker said, detailed scope by the Waterways Department. That then information went to the Department of Environment, the regulator, saying, this is what we want to do. This is our environmental management plan. Go and examine it and tell us, whether we can do that. Once that was done, as the Speaker said, we then advertised these 136 waterways, saying, here is the done EMP. We have done it for you. Who wants to come and extract it, and take the material, so that we can then protect our infrastructure, secure our infrastructure, the roads that are around these waterways, the agriculture activity that is taking place, the villages around these waterways, the settlements around these waterways. Mr. Speaker, I am quite pleased to say that we've received 40 expressions of interest from companies in the various divisions, 44 in the Central Division, 41 in the Western Division, and 51 in the Northern Division. For Central Division, we have got confirmed expression of interest from these creeks. Waimbula Creek in Talebu, we are now ready to roll out the desilting of that. 10 kilometers of Waimbula Creek we have to desilt. This is the level of siltation that is taking place in that waterways. And Nakomba Creek in Serua, 2 kilometers will be undertaking. We now have it from a private sector, where we are given the explanation without spending a single cent from ministry's budget. While we have done the technical, of course, there's money involved, our engineers, environment departments, EMP, all those are there, scoping exercise. Naimbukavesi Creek, Namosi, 7 kilometers will be doing. Wainandui Creek, Namosi, 5 kilometers in the Central Division. Wainimbuambua Creek, Namosi, 5 kilometers. So we are ready now to roll out, and over the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll be commissioning these one by one. Of course, Honorable Nawaikula won't like it when he opens up the papers and see that we know how we are protecting and securing these communities around this particular area. For the Western Division, we have received for these 8 creeks, 8 waterways. Yangara Creek in Tabua, 4 kilometers, Mr. Speaker said, will be desilting. We've got confirmed express of interest. We're now working with them in terms of rolling out, when to roll out. Tuvu Creek in Ba, 2 kilometer. Saru Creek in Latoka, 3 kilometer. Lengalenga Creek in Nendi, 4.5 kilometer. Waimalika Creek in Nendi, 4.5 kilometer. Geleloa Creek in Nendi, 1 kilometer. Noiromba Creek in Nendi, 0.6 kilometer. Nandela Creek in Nendi, 1 kilometer. For the Northern Division, Mr. Speaker said, we've received express of interest from 6 different companies to desilt Madhuata Creek, Madhuata 22 creeks. We've got express of interest in Madhuata area, 22 creeks, and Dakondrove 13 waterways, 13 creeks. We need to desilt that, so that water, so that we restore. So idea is to restore these waterways to its original state. Mr. Speaker, we are in the process of finalizing the due diligence with the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources. We have submitted to them and we have received good feedback from them in terms of ensuring that we comply with their requirements. Mr. Speaker, apart from the emergency desilting of the creeks, we have also commissioned environmental impact studies for dredging of Penang River and Deumba River mouth as well. That is on our desk now. We want to clear up the river mouths of these 2 rivers. We have done upstream. We have done upstream in Rekireki, the Nokawandra Creek. We have done upstream very successfully up till the bridge, half kilometer, and from the bridge down in Rekireki, 3 kilometer we did. And then from the bridge, half kilometer, we have done another 2 kilometers upstream. But we were not able to open up the river mouth because at that particular point in time, our EIA had expired. So we are now wanting to do that. The Speaker said the dredging above rivers will see the removal of approximately 180,000 cubic meters of silt from Penang River and Deumba River, all aimed at restoring the conveyance capacity of these rivers. Mr. Speaker, when we're talking about desilting and dredging of rivers, one thing that we often forget is where are these materials coming from? This is coming from upstream in the catchment from the actual arable good land. So basically, we now, within the ministry, we are talking about how do we ensure that we minimize this amount of good quality, fertile topsoil coming from the arable land into our waterway. Often we have forgotten that particular aspect in terms of really dealing with the problem where it arises. The root cause of the problem is what's happening in the catchment area, because if we fix the cultivation practices, the logging practices in the catchment, then we will be able to minimize what's coming down in the waterways and really dealing with. So desilting and dredging is a temporary solution. The real long-term solution is to define the conduct of people or machines, operators up in the catchment and agriculture field. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Honourable Wilamang Aboka, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. People who saw the front page of the Fiji Times yesterday would be absolutely terrified that their area is being identified for dredging. Honourable Speaker, can I ask the Honourable Minister, when he scopes the Singatoka River, did he know the results that would be, that would to the result to the environment, the way it has been devastated? Did he know that? I mean, he's talking about scoping. Did he know that it would destroy fertile farmlands? Thank you.
Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, that article is incorrect. The article says that because of mining, there is an effect on the flora and fauna in that area. Mr. Speaker, there has been no mining. Magna Mining Company has not done any work. Has not done any work.
Order.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, year before last, Singatoka town was in a mess in terms of flooding. The river mouth was clogged up. And if you go now, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure, please, let me, you have asked the question, you have asked the question, let me explain. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Gavoka is seeing this. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you passed through the bridge there. Look on the right-hand side when you come from Suva, if you go, you see the entire river is clogged up. You can play rugby there on the river in low tide. That needs to be cleaned up, because if you don't clean it up, then where will the water pass through? It'll overflow. It'll overflow, and those villages that is talking about protecting those villages will be affected. Those villages will be affected. Town will be affected. People's activities will be affected. So, Mr. Speaker, government spent $1.2 million to open up the river mouth, to declog the river mouth. Now, what has happened? The photo that is showing, Mr. Speaker, the flora and fauna of that area has changed, and therefore those plants that were there, that place is totally only sand is there. So obviously it will change. So that's what happened. Nothing to do with Magna Mines, nothing to do with mining. There's no mining has taken place.
Honorable Politavo, we have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. Last year in October 2019, the Honorable Minister had said to landowners in Televu, Wendamu River, that, and I quote in the media, "We can't dredge any river, we don't have any money." That's what he said. Through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, yes. I want to ask why did the Minister say that? Does it really mean that there is no money in regards to dredging and he is only talking about plans today? Or are they relying on private companies to take up these dredging works? Can he confirm to the House whether there is money for dredging works?
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, it's rather unfortunate that Honorable Bulutavo is using an out-of-text quotation in Fiji Times to say that I said that there's no money and therefore we can't do dredging. Now, if you go down there, Mr. Speaker said, you go down Budi Road, as soon as you get to the police post, there's a small bridge. That's the Waindamu River. Now, from that bridge, on the left, we have completed entire desilting using our own money. You go down now, you see that. Number two, from the bridge on the right, from the river mouth upstream 1.7 kilometer, a dredging company, Dredging Solutions, they began work, but at the moment they're taking the dredger out of the River. So River is totally clogged up. Honorable Kepa will tell you, totally clogged up. So river mouth needs to be opened up. So at the moment they're opening up the river mouth so they can take the dredger. They can take the dredger to the Waindamu River. Waindamu River, 1.7 kilometer. The dredger will do it. Upstream from 1.7 kilometer, we are doing it using our hired machine with long extension arm. We're doing it. We have done it from the bridge upwards, completed. Now we're doing it from the bridge down. Thank you. So, Mr. Speaker says, if we didn't have money, how did we do that?
Thank you. We'll move on. We'll move on to the next question. All I'm interested in is why are there 5 rivers being done in Namosi and only 1 in Tailevu? Is responsible for the silting. I give the floor